rolling, so you can read it.
Okay. Today is May 2nd, 2023. I'm here with
Pardon?
Louis Ziegler. My name is
Yeah.
Susan Kendall. We're in Toronto,
Mine is
Canada.
Ziegler, not
Ziegler.
like
Ziegler.
Ziegler.
Just your microphone. There you go.
Okay.
Hi, Louis. If you can tell us your name and
My
where you
name
were
is
born.
Chaim Leibig Ziegler. And so I'm Louis, most I use Louis Ziegler, you know. Yeah. I born in Harsnitzer. There was about 600 Jewish people. My uncle was telling me about 600 Jewish people lived there. This was like a farm, like a farm and how to say, but business too, you know. Let's say my neighbor was like to say our neighbor in this side, he was a farmer. And my grandfather was very rich man. But two people, him with another guy, but he had make flowers. Just only two people was very rich. And my grandfather, he was dealing with all kind anything. And we have a whole another. We have a whole. I mean, I can say like for my house right there, and most people in the front was stores. Was a grocery store, a jewelry store, I still remember something like that, and more stores. And we have my mother. She used to sell leather, leather, top leather, not the bottom leather. And my father used to buy animal skin. And he goes to the farmer. Most all lived there, the farmers. And what else can I say? And that's it. We live with my grandfather said to my father, you help me in the business, I give you a piece of land and you build yourself. So my father built a big house, and mostly he took in, you have no money, you poor. Come on, never charge for rent, nothing, never charge. We got upstairs, I think I still remember, two, two, two big room kitchen, no washroom, there was no washroom. And we got downstairs, we got one room like that, like it all around. And what else can I say? We got one room. So my father always bringing people who have no money to no charge for rent. I know I supposed to get a room for myself in the back. So what's happened is, it was an old man. I remember like now, it was an old man. He never lived good with his children. So they threw him out. So my father gave him away my room, to this old man. And after come, and after that, I got two grade. I think it was 2 or 3 grade, the German come in. And they stopped. No Jewish children allowed to go to school. You know that. What's happened is and where we live, I said to you, there live about 6 families. We have a synagogue, one room synagogue, like that. One room was a synagogue. We have just my father with a friend. A poor man too. He was a tailor, poor man. So we have a doctor. He was when I was born there, doctor, not Jewish. So he always go. His wife was very sick. So always he make out for the medication. His sister owned the up there, like the pharmacy. So he make out the medication pay, but they have no money. So he give it like no pay for it. Very nice guy, the doctor. He was Polish. He lived across from us. We now I said you can be like that today. Both sides. My grandfather make like houses, like one room, 2 room, like kitchen, a kitchen. So what's happened is, we have the water. They come to us for water. But we have the, how to say it, water from the yeah, that's it. Just an hour place, they have some place outdoor for an hour place. The Gentile Jew, and the anti-Semitism, listen, was not so many, someone. And I play with a kid, the same age, 4 years old, 5 years old. You know what he said to me? He said to me, you go to Palestine. Polish is this land is Polacco, Polish. You go to Palestine. This is your land. You know that. You don't belong to here. Man, the I tell you a story, maybe you can believe it or not. It's coming two soldiers, the Wehrmacht, the first soldier. And he said to our house was mostly like the road, you know, not the road or far away or still, you know, that the two Germans come in and said, you know what, we want you to cook for us. He said to come to my mother and he said, we want you to cook for us. So my father said, okay, how can I go? I need this stuff. He said, okay, we give you a paper. We give you a paper and you can go on the farm, buy everything you want. And he said to my father to watch out, there's one, he hates the Jew, watch out for him. The German was telling that. So what happened to where they live, this guy owned a gem factory. The Polish was Polish, very big anti-Semitic, very big. So what's happened is, of the end what's happened is, I go cut up onto each other, you know. Of the end what's happened is, they come one day, they come crying. He said, we have to go to, they are afraid for the Russian. He said, we have to go on the Russian front now. They take it from there to send it to the front. He was crying. And he said to my father was working for them, you know, not for them. I mean, they cut him, he had to work for them. You know, we was near. So they said to my father, go collect everything was left over, lots of food. So you know what he done? He closed the door not to let my father in. The Polish, you know, they own the gem factory, you know. And what's happened is, you never let my father in, okay, not let in. So this one for the one, I don't remember which year. And their next door neighbor from us, he owned the same land, or no houses, just land, you know. And he got the same another guy, my uncle was telling me that after the war. What's happened? He got stuff like for clothing, like dresses, you know, he was selling that, you know. So my mother always said, why don't you go play with her, you know, with the, you know, she had this one next door to us. So this guy, when they took us out in, I don't know, 42, I think for the 41, 42, you know, so he make a deal with the Polish guy. A neighbor, you know, not far, all live together. So he said, you hide my daughter with my wife, you know, after we come back, after well, think everybody we go live, you know. So you know what's happened? When they took us out, my uncle was telling me, after the war, he was there, he said everything. So he was telling me, the guy, you know what's happened? One thing, the police was living for us. The police there. So he bring a policeman from Warsaw, you know, from the big city. And when they took us out, they killed them. And wife met the daughter. He took everything from the guy and they killed them, you know, like that. With me, with my father, they killed in the same place. The men, they killed in the same place. Me, with my mother, they took us a place, I forgot which place was that, for thousands of people, you know, big place. And after they come, and they say, the men separate and young men bless you, and the woman this side. I never forget, my mother got a new coat, so she said, keep the coat. I mean, I was a kid, but I know 14 years old. So I didn't know she's going for that, you know. So keep this coat, and she gone this way, and I gone this time. The German was not organized yet. We can do what you want, you know. No food, nothing. I work, yeah, but I line up the work. What I was doing, the small train was going, and I was making the signal, for my friend, for the train to go here, to stop, to go. And my another cousin, I still have some family, and he said, don't do that, you go freeze to death. I said, but the next day I was not, can I do again? He said, no, not go do that. I don't want to do it. He said, no, you go dig. I say, okay. And I got two friends, what I was telling about the mother, she buried out the medication. They come to me. One was my best friend, out a kid, It was I jump in one to another. Every Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, he helped my father, like the boat, like a canter here, the boat to do that. So he was my best friend. He come, he said, Leibish, He said, I'm bleeding. My brother is bleeding. We have no food. He said, you know what? I have to go for water. You go for the water. There was my uncle working another like private bricklaying, brick to make brick. And I said, maybe he'll give you some bread. I gave it to them. One thing with me, I'm never hungry. You know that? I was never hungry. How bad it was, I was never hungry. And so they got there, and at the end, they die anyway. One sister survived, And the cold, I gave it to one guy. This time was till we can go in now. He gave it to my cousin, And she got killed, the German killer, a day or two before the liberation. You know that? And I was there. I don't know, somehow I can tell you that what's happened is, I should tell my way. What's happened is, from there, I began places we can go in and go out. After I got a job bricklaying, make bricks. So what's happened is, I make the bricks, and the Polish, see, I was afraid, to be honest with you, for the Ukrainian, the Polish, the German, and the Jew. You know that? But what's happened is, they make the bricks, and I said, but somebody, I know maybe you don't believe, I believe in angels. So come one guy said, tell her, you go bring a stocking, nylon stocking. And she gave you a paper, you can go home to bring a nylon stocking. And I know there I go work, and I'm finished. This is how it go. So she gave me, I said, I go bring you a nylon stocking, I come back. And I was there, so what's happened is, one day come, I was not alone, there lots of people, not lots, too many, 20, I don't remember how many, come a truck, they took out, like the ghetto, I think, but the ghetto, never came, Krakow ghetto. And from there, from the ghetto, I said to you, I walk outside, the food was frozen, it was winter time already. So from there began to I don't know if it's Krakow ghetto, I don't remember. I think it was the ghetto. We go to, and after that we have to go out, we send him back out to Prussia. That was more, Prussia. It was till 1940, I don't know, 1942, when comes one guy, his name was Get. He was a murder. His pleasure was for killing. Not drunk. He liked to drink and a murder. So we got there, and I don't know what's happened. Somehow I get mixed up with this and this. I run from one place to another now. So what's happened there? One, they send me, I don't want to tell you how I can take a whole night and day. He sent me from there. I was there working. And after they sent us, a whole bunch of sent us in another camp. And I said to myself, I'm used to the old camp. I know the tricks, what's happened is, I want to go back. So once I come back, they don't let us in. And I said, we stay hours already. So once this time I see, you bring a family, a wife, husband, rich, he wore a fur coat. He was a heavy guy, fur coat. That he took him there and decided there to kill him, you know, the whole family. You know, but we stay here or there, but they're killing, you know, too. Killing everywhere. So at the end, the Jewish commandant said that he was for the, you know, for the ran the, you know, he was responsible. He said, "You son of a bitch, but you judge, he got a bottle of whiskey. You buy him up with the whiskey to let us in the camp." And after that, they sent us to Chentajau, up map ammunition factory. There was no killing. One killer. The rest was no killing. And there was another German. They bring kids. They come from the Warsaw from over. The first kid, they line them up and they send them to kill again. There was another German. He said, "Hide the kid. Hide the kid." And he don't see the kid. He can do nothing, you know. So from there, of the end, what's happened, there was a Jewish man. I worked with that group. I was the only one in the group from not the same city. The rest was all was from the same city. The only thing was happened, and I worked with them. But one thing I was lucky. Where I work, I got good couples. You know, couples? But you never see guys like that. You go like me, the bigger killers anyway, you know. Someone was very bad. So what's happened is, this guy, he got an eye on me, but the German make him, if somebody don't know how to work, I mean, don't can work, they send him to Skashit, another ammunition came out there to finish you up. You know, so he had an eye on me, want to show for the German, and he do something, you know, like he was responsible. You do get work, he tell him, and he send you away to, you know, finish. So what happened, my couple, I want to bring up this one, my luck, was everywhere again was good couples. And then my couple said to him, "Listen, he belonged to the same city. I was the only one." So he said, "Listen, if you touch him, you see how we know each other. If you touch him," he said, "he worked for me, he's my man. You touch him, you see the whole of us, we kill you. Not the German, we go kill you. Just get away from here and don't try to come again." You know, like that. I'm like, you know, like just plain like. And after the from there, yeah, he had said, yeah, nice. From there they sent us to Buchenwald. You hear about Buchenwald. What's happened, we go to Buchenwald, and I work nighttime. So I get like double bread. I got 2 bread. A millionaire, you know, I was a millionaire. So I got 2 bread. So what's happened is, I asked the guy, I never know him. I asked the guy, "What they do, I have 2 bread." He said, "You know what, get cut up, give everybody bread." And the people would go with our Santos, they would change the house too, or they were in ghetto. You know what I mean? Like not like we was working for the ammunition. They work too, or they were in ghetto. They bring glass of food with them. Or they were drinking. And they say, I like to say, a soldier. I know the German very well. So what happened is, I gave the bread away, and they would bring the food, they didn't want to give nothing. So what happened when this was in January, so we have to go, so they ran first. I said, let them run. We open up their bag. We eat very good food, you know. We got somebody threw us up the snow for water. You have to have water, you have snow for water. And after they took us to, after we got and clothing, you know, to wash us up, you know, like a shower, you know. And from there they took us to Barak. And yeah, the guy helped me to cut the bread. He said, "Listen, in Buchenwald, I don't know, somehow they can sneak in and sneak out. You know, the people know the trick there. I don't know, they come." So yeah, when I come, the first thing I got, I see 2 men carry a guy. He just plain bones, you know, bones, just no meat, bones. You carry it to crematorium, not to finish him, you know. This is what I see when I come the first day. I come there and I got so much food, the bread I gave away. So what happened is, I was in a block, you know, and there was one man, yeah, the guy said to me, "Listen, I go in. He know everything. He said, I go in the camp, deep in the camp, and I buy a knife, and I come back. They see you in a couple of days. I said, okay. So he know which block we are. So I say, okay. Meanwhile, there was a father with two sons. He took away my portion. They took away my portion, the portion. A piece of bread and a little soup. So what happened is, a couple of days later, he come. He said to me, how come you crying? I said, they're taking away my bread, my soup. So he came to I'll never forget, he came to the father. He said, you see the knife? Will be right in your stomach. The soup and the bread belongs today for him. That was happening. Meanwhile, I got to lay down. They were still not as though, end of the war already. I lay down to one guy come in. He said, Father, his father was same time to that. He said, tomorrow come a commission, a German commission, everybody out. When you come back, don't forget, if you fight to go in this camp, this is a good camp, go this camp. Already, the camp which was good bed. And I listened, he said, who does? Oh, he's sleeping. When come the next day, he was right. The German come out, they took us some, I don't know where, and have to come back. And I know already, I come to, he said, all right, no, I thought, no. I said to the German, look, my hand. I walk out, a big walk, I start walk, I want to go. He right, he said, oh, you verflucht der Hund. And I come there, and there was that guy, the commandant in the camp. He was a flyer, pilot, and he got shot down, and he got injured. And the German need healthy people for the front, the Russian front, another front, So they took out all of the best and put him in for commandant. And he said, shooting, I am the one. And he said, if you steal a piece of bread from another guy, we need to kill you. This belonged to him, And he was one factory from chocolate was burned down from the bomb. He got a break, gave us our chocolate, He was a nice guy, What happened is, I was stupid, I never claimed. See here? When I mixed in one another, I walked in the stone mine, the one stone jump, and I got, there was two doctors, one German, one Czech. I come there with my luck, I got, one way yeah lucky, one day no. I got this, so he make an operation of my legs, What happened is, I was in the hospital, and wait, he said to me, said, another doctor, you want to cut my leg up. And my doctor said, why you want to cut the leg? He can go work. Tomorrow he go to work. To the end of the war already. Every time we tell him, tomorrow he go to work. That was happened of the end. My mother come to dream and said, hide. I never forget this one. That was happened. And there was the Italian guy in the hospital. Very nice. So he said, I see lots of soldiers walking behind the hospital with machine guns. There was the American, was going after coming 3 guys with medals, big shot, the big, and they look around. The Czech doctor said on me, Polish. I said, no, Polish, Jude. So he looked at me, say nothing, and he walk around, and after he sit down, yeah, what's happened? Everybody get a bottle of cognac. But the food, the soup was pig food, fat food. They were too fat. If you think that, you finish. Your stomach was empty, the dry stomach. So he get this one. So he got sit down with me. The rest got away. He sit down. He gave me the cognac, a spoon cognac, a spoon soup. He said a long time with me. 100% he was Jewish. 100%. So he stayed a long time with me. And after that, I don't know what's happened. They sent me some, I don't know what's happened. They sent me over other places. And I got in the Polish camp. There were 20,000 Polish. So what happened at the end? The Polish came, they want to kill us. Me, not kill us. I mean, I was the only one. Everybody know one Jew's alive. They around there, but no Jew, I was alive. So if you push us out, they have a radio. I don't know how I come I have a radio. They broke it. I bite it. So what happened at the end, I have to move out and I find another Jewish guy. So we were together. The trouble is, I think we have cigarettes. We sold the cigarettes. The trouble is, we have nothing. So I see a transport truck come with food. I go to the black guy. And I said, Jimmy, food. He said, Kumedan Jew. What I understand in English, he said, Kumedan Jew. No, Kumedan, not Jew. He said, Kumedan. And I said, something. And I said to my friend, you know what, let's go see the Kumedan. So he said, all right. There was Polish soldiers. They stay with machine gun. Don't let them to see him, So there's a guy typing. I still remember, red hair. He looked out, said, let him in, So they let me in. There was a German Dolmetscher. And this German Dolmetscher said, you tell me. I tell you, come on. I said, oh, no. I said, I want to see him in person. I don't care. I want to see the Commandant. I know my head, like that. And I have a Star David, my jacket, like a jacket. Peter, then he said, okay, you will come out. So he come out. I'll never forget this one. He come out, and I show it to him, Star David. I like to cry. You know what happened? He took out a mezuzah. Mezuzah show. So he said, I said, yeah, man, that's been good Jewish. I don't him. No, but he was happy. And we tell him, listen, they want to kill us. They want to kill us, So he go in, the soldiers. I don't remember what we were talking with them. And then he said, if they kill me, he go wipe out the whole camp, But after that, everybody was nice. The nice stars. We don't need that, you get that paper, they go to get the food from the warehouse, not to them. And one day out, okay, we was happy, and I said, I don't know about another camp, he said to me, another Jew, Jewish camp out there. I know, I phone up the Red Cross, and they go take you there, like that. So I said, I walked with this guy. We walk around, now we're free, but not everybody was nice to us. We walk around, it was summertime. And I see a lady walk behind us. And I said to my friend, how come where we go, she go too? I said, I got suspicion. I said, what's happened? I said, how come she go after us? We stop. So she come over. She asked one question, you Jewish? I said, yes, I'm Jewish too. And she said that she lived with that was Ukrainian woman. Said, you don't know she's Jewish. She kill it. The Ukrainian was very best. The woman men no different. Now they play nice people, So I said, don't worry. The commandant is Jewish. I said, okay. She said, you know what? Tomorrow morning, I go through all my stuff through the window, you pick it up, and tomorrow morning I will come out like, we go out, like that. And so we got the head too. At the end what's happened, I see a new transport, the commandant said, the door's open for you. You can come in and go when you want. So what's happened is, I stayed there, I got overcome, I see it's one guy, I said, look to be Jewish. And I asked him, he said, yes. He said, Feldafing, minimum, the Latin camp now, Jewish camp. So we found him, we began the Jewish camp. I don't want to tell you everything, like that. So we got this camp, Feldafing. Maybe you heard about that or not, Feldafing. The camp was there in mine, in Kama Rabbi, and he was talking. I said to myself, he talked like from my farm. And I don't know, see, one thing when you got liberate, everybody ask you your name. What's your name? where you come. People, you know, the whole no family, everybody asks, you know, I find out that, I find out my cousin this way, you know. So the guy come, and he said to me, come. I said, where you want me to come? Do you know where we come from? And he said, come to the rabbi. So I said, the rabbi, the chaplain, you know, American chaplain. And what's happened is, I come in, he said to me, you stay there in the corner. I said, all right, I stay in the corner. And I stay a long while in the corner. And after he said, are you Hashu's son? My father's name was Hashu. And I said, yes, like the guy, you know. I said, yes. He grabbed me, started kissing me. He said, you know what? I was going with your father and Heidi together. You know, this story. Now we can go back in concentration camp. Another, I always say that I have an angel. This get took us a place, the stone was higher from the grass. You know, they're higher from the grass. He wanna ask to cut the grass. How can you cut the grass? The stone higher from the grass. So what's happened, come the secretary. Yeah, some will say he's Jewish, some will say he's German. The secretary is a telephone, you have to come right away. You need to right away in the phone. Not a minute to wait, waiting for you. Come to the telephone. So he said, all right, you watch him to finish up. He said, don't worry, he said, you're going to make a good job. Don't worry. So what's happened, his office was right down. So when we see he got in his office, so the guy said, you know, I don't know, some said he was Jewish, some said he was, I don't know really who was he. He said, go back in garage. I mean in Barak. Go back in Barak, you know, to ask. Go back, you know, you can see it, nobody can do it. You want to kill us, you know. Just I said to escape, and I can tell you stories of stories of stories. I don't know where to begin, you know. I don't know. Only thing I was lucky is I got good couples, very good couples. My couple beat up another couple. When they liquidated Krakow, you know what's happened? They have to clean up. So he started beating up, make faster, make faster. My couple got over and gave him the face. He said, what the hell? The German go kill you the same like they kill everybody, Jew. But you beat him up. He was fighting for them too. He beat up the Jew, you know. And I can tell you, what else can I tell you? I can go back and forth, you know. In the home, this was my life. I mean, most in the concentration camp, you know. And I was lucky, plain lucky. Plain luck, you know, plain luck. Yes, I said I got a cousin. You know what's happened? He come from another parshuk. There were two parshuk. He liquidated another one, the big one. So he hide in the enclosure, how you call it, like take a shower. So he see empty, but you have to live. I want to show you. So he opened up. He was the only one that can get in there. The rest, nobody can get in there. They try. So they bring old kid over, they kill him. So what happened, the German come, the Ukrainian come, they kill them. So he was only one hiding there. And I was walking then told him, and there was a German watching us. So he liked to drink. So he always said, he's asleep. He said, listen, there's come another German, wake me up. You know, like that. He never bother us. And my cousin, he wanted to see somebody jump on me. You know, the new place where we was building. Somebody jumped and look over, this was my cousin in the home. We played together, you know. His father was in camp. He said, to my former, but I tell you, my former said, the couple, let's say, he said, go tell your father he's alive. So I got a piece of wood. They show something what I need, you know, not just go like that, they don't let you. So you survive. His father survived, he survived, he died already. his father died too, I mean, old. And, but out, you know. But I can tell you more stories if I never had to come back. You know, I know what I tell you already. But no food. I know somehow I survive. But no food. My grandfather was very generous. My father, I don't talk about my father. He rent out a whole big house. I said to you, we have one big room like that, and we have another room at the back. And after we have our kitchen and our room, and there, but that's so big. We have we have machines, you know, to put it to sew the top, you know, from the leather. And my dad, my father, his dad, I mean like the stepsister, you know, but the mother died. My father married again my mother, you know. My father was very religious and very Zionist. And now I come. So she gone to the university, you know, not far from us, but the university. And she was complaining at the spit on her, you know, the police spit on her, want to beat her up too. And my father said, what to do? So what's happened is, we have two people working for my mother. And so what's happened, they have a fight. They say, you stole that, you stole that. You know, so my father said, hey, this is our money they were stealing. So at the end, he fired them. He got to Mierchum, 8 miles from us, for the city. So he got and said, listen, I have machines, Zinke machine. If you gonna see my half a year, my daughter will be in Israel, in Palestine, you know. I gave you the machine to say, a deal. We make a deal. And this should happen. Half a year later, she got to Israel, you know that. The whole family, we was more like right, you know, it was lefty, you know, right, you know, like that. When concentration came, there's lots of things. Yom Kippur, you know, Yom Kippur, the German, you know what they done? They advertise who want a food. We open the kitchen now. Somebody want a food, we give them food. Open the Yom Kippur. And however, I no food, I never eat Yom Kippur. So what's happened is, one thing with me, I never run, till now. I never run. I take it like it is. So what's happened, they kill him all. The German kill him out who run for restaurant, open restaurant. You know? I bought for Chentachau, I bought there in the Warta, what the Warta name was Warta. I bought there, I got a Polish guy, I was helping him building, you know, the like heavy stuff, cement, you know. So the guy was Yom Kippur, he said, you know what, I have soup for you, but my wife made, but I said, keep it, I never eat. You know, I mean, I bring up like that, you know, family. I can say, I don't know how I survive. Let's face it. I don't know. So one thing I tell you, I always say I have an angel. You know what's happened? The last camp, we have to go down by 150 steps to the stone mine. So they say you have to put your shoes by your bed, and you're not allowed to take my shoe. But I done it, I do like that, the order. Most everybody take. What's happened? I stay up in the morning, I got Hollandish shoe. You know Hollandish shoe, the wooden one. And I have to go down. I will go like that, rolling. You know, for the I never used this Hollandish shoe. So, but I was lucky. I come see the guy who took my shoes. I think was too big or too small. So what happened next day? I see next morning the Holland shoe disappeared. My shoes I got back. You know. In the Prussia, you know, the last story to tell you, you know. And we live was not bad. the German, one thing, they took us out, you know, the whole, everybody. And I said, you know, there was one guy, one kid, when he come after the war, he got lost. How I know, my uncle was telling him that. He was there, he said everything of us, you know. So he was telling me, one kid got lost. He never know where he is. The army, Polish army, the army, they kill him. After the war. After the war, not the war, after the war. You know, I'm telling you, what how can I tell you? I have lots of stories, always forgetting, you know. My father was too generous. And my father got killed right there. And my mother took away, they gave my cousin the coat. In the bench, what can I tell? More stories. I know one thing, the Purim, they come from the big city to play for us, not for my grandfather. He had a bucket with money. He took out like that. He gave it to them. I remember when I was a kid, I count the rubles, you know, it was not worth no more, the Russian. I got the whole bag like that. And that was another one I said, but to make the flowers, these two. And after they died, they said, become no more, you have nobody, you know. It was generous. Without, I jump in before one to another, now I forget. And here I come, one thing, I got a night auntie. She helped me. I got more family, I don't want to say. Oh, she was the only one was helping me.
To get here?
Here.
How did
When
you
I
get
come, my cousin from Chicago sent me $3. That's what I have. You know, $3. She sent me here. I got a night empty. My wife put out the meat. I was poor. My wife put out, just come, you know, this time not like now. Like the people making big money. And this time 50 cents an hour. And I worked like a slave. You know that, like a slave. And after I find a guy, I jump in one to another. After I find a guy locked in the washroom, he make him 1 hour. $1 an hour. I got one more. I said, what do you do? I don't give it to him. So I said, okay, give me my employment. I'm out. And it just it, you know, but my auntie, my wife, I jump in one time. My wife said to my auntie, you know, I put out on the balcony the meat, the cat come eat it up. So my auntie said, okay, I buy a Frigidaire. You know, he was not rich, but comfortable. He was an electrician, you know. The only one who was help. I have more family. I don't want to talk about it, you know. Not too good. You know, not so good. Yeah, not so good. The one thing I worked for this place, I got to Israel, you know. I said, I got so mad. I said, I leave Canada. I go to my uncle said, you go back. You don't stay in Canada. Israel was poor at the time. No bread to eat. You have to get a paper to go buy bread. And I said, okay, before, see a guy, and I said, oh, I know you. So what happened is, he said to me, you married? I said, no, my wife have a girlfriend for you. And I got married, and I got, my cousin bring me pap, and her sister buy the cake. That's all. I have no money.
Where was that?
No, nothing. He said I got married. And after I come here, and I see a guy, but I want to bring an angel. And I see a guy, and say, where the hell we always talk, you know, on the Cowish Street was our headquarters, you know, Cowish. We got butters to Spadina. The Italian got from there to my come, you know, up was the Italian place. And our place, when we come with butters, Cowish and butters, to Spadina. So he said to me, listen, I'm looking what you have to talk to everybody like to talk, you know. I have to talk to you, and I don't see you no more. Where you been? I tell him, listen, I got married. I have no money. I always take a risk. I have no money. And I have no money. I have no job, you know. So he said to me, you know what? I gave you the address. And they go hire you in one second, not a minute, a second. I said, okay. So he gave me that. They gave me the job. I gone down there. And like he said, you hired. They never only listen to the whole story. He said, you hired. And I know, maybe you know them. It was Henry Zadansky. He gave lots of charity. You know them? You know, he was the greener. The another one was but I forgot what his name is. I forgot his name is. He was a Canadian, another one, and he was the greener, Henry. You know, it was very. So I worked there. It teach me like I'm telling you. I never, I like to say, you progress, you become millionaire. You know, the Henry, so what's happened, I wanted not keep beginning, to, you know, I don't blame him. I worked for an hour to an hour 50 an hour this time. And it was paying $3 night time. It was so busy there. I'm telling you, night time, I got the same page I put out, they were watching me. They said, where you going, man? You're so busy, you going away? I said, I not go work for this day, for night, the same place. He said, Louis, and he said, Louis, in a couple days, I come be straight out. I said, okay, work. And I work, I'm telling you, and he come, Henry, in a couple days, and he said, okay, I'm here. What you want? I said, I want time and a half. You pay the income tax for time and a half. So he said, Louis, shake hands, you know, okay. And after a couple of weeks later, I said, Louis, you ripped me up. I pay double time, that time and a half. It was very nice. And I said, I go in business. Zinge, yeah. He said, where you going? You don't want to cut no more. We gave you on the floor. We don't want you to go. They were begging me, you know, like I was surprised they was begging me. Louis, stay here with us. We like you, stay here. And I said, no, I want to make a penny. I want to make a penny and stay for myself. And this was I stayed 14 years, day and night, never see them, just Sunday see my kids. You know, from 7 in the morning to 10 at night, you know. This was the second store. The first store,
What was your
I
job?
don't want to talk. I buy for my relative.
No,
I
what
don't
was your
wanna-
job
What?
when you came to Canada? What did
I was cutting the dresses by Zinge, you know, by Henry. Very nice people. Very nice. I was already in store, you know, and he comes, Zinge come, Louis, come on, like, come for a couple hours work for us. I don't know why they were working so many people, you know. They was working not with me. I work for me, they pay me, not cash. The rest work for cash, you know, that's Saturday, Sunday. So he was begging me, Henry, I'm telling you, it's all nice treatment. Of the end, he said, Zinge said, Louis, I tell you what, if you make $1 million, don't spend it. He said, how much you make, take up for yourself, you know, take up for yourself, and the rest put in the bank. Don't blow it. They like the multi-connect, this was the done, get old and broke. You know, the business, everybody go vacation, we spend, take money from the bank for the house, you know, for on the house. What's happened to that house? The business starts going down. I have some money. The business, I'm here, I don't care. You know, the business gone down. I still have, you know, I save up, you know, every penny I can do. Business was not bad. The first business I got, I don't want to mention the name for my family. I don't want to mention the name. Bad treatment. Want to rip me up. My family. And this business I got down of cowish. So I have nothing to do. I look for business. So they got the man. I said to everybody, he said, you know what? He had a variety store too, on St. Clair. So he said, you know what? I think go down this place. Don't argue. He said, don't argue. How much do you want? Give it to them. A good store. What has happened is these people got no education altogether. Even the 2 kids, they have 2 sons. Die wanted to turn around. The guy said, I go to university. I'm not interested in variety store business, like that. So die wanted to say, wouldn't I buy it? And I can't complain. So a slave, or make something of slave. You know what I mean? I make some money. You say that. But I got, when she was born, I had $250 to pay for months in the hospital. I have no money. My cousin, my uncle signed for me. I did go pay if I don't pay. No, in business, that to get better. So what's happened is I paid him before. The guy said, no more signature. How much you want, we give it to you. No more. Now I tell you one thing. I don't care. The worst customer was Jewish customer. And the best one was Gentile. I have Gentile, but they help me anything I need papers. I got the Gentile was standing always for me for papers. You believe that or not? Good Gentile help me. Anything I want was good Gentile. You understand? I say Gentile. They help me anything. And with the Jewish, I threw mostly out. They want everything for nothing. I don't want to mention name. I got one guy, he buys the Jewish paper. I remember paying 5 cents. He said, I will not pay you yet. I said, listen, pay me every time. Don't say tomorrow you'll pay me. Very billionaire. Very rich. And I said, pay me the 50 cents when you buy the paper. You never have money. So after this what I got, you buy a radio for me. I don't want to mention no name. Got a radio, $10. The window said, how much is the radio? I said, $10. This was the best. A couple of days later, he bring me back. He said, I don't care, get Europe. You want to get a multi-billionaire, not millionaire, billionaire. I got, a singer. He was a good customer of mine. Silver. I bought the same party, the same party. Sure, but I paid always. I make mistake on my side. I said to you, mostly Jewish customers, they come in, the one like to give them for nothing. Here, I buy the New York Times, right? The New York Times Sunday. And they come from Eglinton, the big shot. Took for me, I had to go downtown. And one day, there seemed trouble with me, I never checked too much. Now trouble start checking, as I lose every time I lose an hour on the New York Times, I was not telling too much. So I phone up the company, I said, listen, no more Sunday New York Times. So they come to me, and I said, hey, what's happened? I said, one time, go downtown. So he said, you're not a businessman. I said, you're right, I'm not a businessman. You buy from me New York Times. You buy a gum for 5 cents from me. How long you come to me? Every Sunday? No. You just come by the New York Times and run out. I said, so now you run down. I said to him, he go downtown. Now I'm set to you open. I was no happy with the Jewish guy. I told them, honest, I told them out. The Gentile, I got Gentile, they trust me, I trust them, I trust them, and I'm telling you, especially the English. Before, when I took over, the English people lived there. And the English people, one the guy said to me, I never forget, he said to me, Louis, I need cigars. I said, I give you a good deal. I don't buy from you, I buy by Eaton. I'm telling you, customer, I buy by Eaton. I don't want to bargain. The English people, no bargain, great. And that's what's happened. I got, I was open, like I got a guy, a Jewish guy. He took them to the doctor every side. I paid him like a taxi. You know what's happened? I said, what's Harry, how about a scooter? I have no time to scooter. So he said, you pay me. I said, I gave you the American money. I said, I pay you like a taxi. Now you want me to pay for that too? So you come in, Fred. But not one thing out, the gent was not the guy from the street. He was the engineering for the airport, mountain for the plane, So he said, Fred, how about you take my wife with the kid to the doctor? How much you want? I said, nothing, but I want to fill up the gas. That's it, and I take them forever. You know, they get them with $2 this time, you know. I fill them up. I said to you, old papers with that one. I got from them. I got some Jews too, you know, I don't say, you know. You give me ideas, you know. One thing is you give me ideas. And this is, you know, I
So when
think
you were
that,
in Israel,
eh?
how did you get from Israel to Toronto?
I was a Canadian, not really Canadian citizen yet. I would come here, and after I come to Israel, and I come back. You know, I got
So
married,
how
I
did
come
you
back.
get here?
I come back.
How did you get here?
Here,
Uh-huh.
I said to you, my cousin bring me over.
Oh, okay.
This time it was $200 to pay for me to come here. And after the owner paid the $200, I don't want to mention what's happened with this.
Did you go?
No, the $200, the owner get back.
Did you go
You know.
to Halifax?
Huh?
Did you go to Halifax?
What you mean?
How did you get to
I
Toronto?
got here with the boat.
Huh?
With the boat,
On a boat?
yeah.
To where?
And I was surprised. You know what's happened? I got in the boat. I forgot where we parked. And I come to Montreal. You know, so
You
there
went
I
from the
was.
boat to Montreal?
No, from the boat, you know. I forgot where the boat come to Canada. I forgot the place where
Halifax?
it's Halifax, I think. And I come to Montreal.
By train?
In Montreal, I see know some people know my name. They call me out, but not a Jewish couple, you know, with a baby. I think they have the baby or not. They said, let's go to the restaurant. I don't know how they know my name, you know. How Jewish people work. They say this way. They know my name, and another couple said, hey, you come with us to the restaurant. So we went to the restaurant, and they said, you don't go with them. You go we send you to Toronto Express. You know, you go for just a couple hours. You know, I was surprised. I said, how do you know? I mean, I come, one know each other. You know, and they took, come here. The whole family was waiting for me. Was for the bar mitzvah a couple of days before. I missed the bar mitzvah. The whole family, mostly from the States. See, I can go, when I talked about the rabbi, I can go to the States 2 weeks after the war. When he come talk to us, you know. But he said, do you have somebody? I said, sure, I have a rabbi in New York. I have lots of family. I know. I just remember the names, you know. The rather the UNRWA come and said to me, you want to go to America? You can go right now. I said, I'm not going. I go 2 places, Israel or Canada.
Why?
That's what I was still in Germany, you know, this time. You know. And I said,
Why-
I don't
why
want, my
Canada?
father used to say, the stones in America treife. You know, treife is not kosher. The stones in America is not kosher, the stones. You know, I don't know, I never like to go to, I don't know why, you know, it did come in my head, you know, I don't know. I said I like better to go to Canada in the Israel. And I come to Israel, my uncle said, go back to Canada. You know, it was very bad this time either. No food. It's stone, it's sand, there's nothing there, you know. Second time, I was a couple of times in Israel. The second time I come, I was crying. You see the Israeli army. In Polish, they said, they gave a Jew, a rabbin, with an onion, let him shoot his wife. You know, they're like the Jew don't know nothing, you know, like this one, you know. And listen, this is how it is. I work hard. I'm not complaining. You know, I have my own home. And I'm not rich and I'm not poor. You know, like that. And I'm not complaining. Another year, that's it. You know, how long can you live? You never live forever. You know that. So I'm happy. That's it, happy. I mean, I'm still in trouble here, trouble there, trouble everywhere. You know, I got good time and bad time. You know, everybody had the same story. And I can tell you more stories, and I forget, you know, after that, when concentration came, you know, That's a story. And the German were killing, not just the German, the Ukrainian. One thing I was happy, you know what's happened? She said, remind myself something. The Ukrainian, I don't know what's happened, they stole a truck with uniform. So they said that the Jew never gave it to them. You know, but the Jews, like the Jew work for the German, factory, you know. So they were think that he can say, blame the Jew, you know, they get away from it, you know. So the German, but them, you know, everything writing. They said, okay. So they come to the Jews, you know, they, when you work for the German, said, what's happened? He said, here, he signed, he took everything. You know, he signed and he took it, the Ukrainian. So you know what's happened? The Ukrainians come running in our camp, the Germans were shooting them. But he was told, and after in the morning, I see you have about 5, 6, how to say it, this one, blind, and you shoot them, the rest left over. And I did come back, you know, come back. I got lots of stories to tell them, you know. And one thing I tell you, that Henry was very nice. I nothing complain of them, they treat me very nice, very nice. They beg me, you know, I don't know why they beg me to stay with it. And I see, now I don't see no more Jewish paper. I do give lots of charities. I don't know, now I don't know. I think he had one, I know, a son and 2 daughters, something like that. I don't know.
2 sons.
He died young, you know. No, he was a very nice guy. I said to you, when I come to treatment, they would beg me, don't go to stay with us. You know, at the end what's happened? You know, at the end what's happened? They sold their business to Israeli, and they got broke. So they hired too many people, I think. Too many. They hired so much people, you know, 2, 3 cutters, like me, but another one, a religious guy, another one, they keep it, you know, like, mostly the dresses gone to the west of Canada, you know. I tell you, I have no word. And the another guy, what I tell you about the first, he treat me very bad. Treat me very bad. You know what's happened? He have, the Polish guy, he had 2 partners. Another one come over and borrow money, me I buy a boat, and somebody tell me, hey, give me a lift with a boat. Then what's happened is, he have a nephew. The nephew said, if you sell me, give me $100,000, I can make you a fortune. You were dealing with medical, you know, bad this. So what's happening? Give him the $100,000, you make money. So he said, give me another $250,000. I can make double money. You know what's happening? So the bank gave me a building and everything. He never paid back. So he got broke. Treat me bad. One thing is, who treat me bad? I don't know why. He got broke. Treat me very bad. And Henry, I said to you, the treatment, I never can explain. The treatment so nice, become millionaires.
When you came to Canada, when you came to Canada,
I come here
when you came here,
in 1940, I think 1949.
was there anti-Semitism?
In 1949, I think 1948 or 1949.
Were you treated nicely? Was there anti-Semitism
What?
here? Was there anti-Semitism here when you came to Canada?
When I come to Canada, what you mean, where I live?
Were you? Did people know you were Jewish?
How old I was?
No.
What? How old?
No.
I think I was this time in the 20s. You know, I wouldn't tell you the truth. I never know. I was a kid, 1 or 2 grade. You know, I still not in my head. You know, I never know the business, same thing, you work and same thing. I will think that people will treat you. In the first place, I said to you, you use me out. I work like a slave. The first job you gave it to me. You know, then I come here, and my auntie tried, they gave me another jobs, you know. She was very nice. I got another one, she died right away, when I come. I live by them. I live in Brunswick. Brunswick, 63 Brunswick, I think was it. And she died right away. And I live there. I go to Silver Restaurant. Silver Restaurant, you hear about that? No, it was on Cowich, And I said to you, I'm not complaining, I was slaving.
Were,
14 years.
when you came here,
Yeah.
were you treated nicely, or was there anti-Semitism
Anti-Semitism.
in Canada?
No, I got one thing when I got the store. I said on Bassett, Bassett in St. Clair. Yeah, that was my store. The Loop, the number Loop, it was my store. The one thing till now, I have nobody come in one gem, not a gem, I don't know. He showed me the Hackenkreis, and his wallet, and after another guy come in, he was looking there, the small book, textbooks, variety stuff. He said, the Jew owned the bank, the Jew owned that. I never entered, I have nobody come in my store. Nobody come in my store. But I never entered the book out. Anti-Semitism is always with us. It will be, I stay away from the bluer Sitka, to go down, to come a guy, don't buy, Anna said, don't buy, but Anna said, he's a Jew. The Jew no good. He was going to the restaurant on Cowich. I see him there. I was going. And they listen, they got nice people. They got anti-Semitism too. Anti-Semitism is jealousy. I got a guy, he was living in my house, and he said to me, he see me, Louis, you rich, you have lots of money. I said, I have lots of money. You want the money too? He said, sure. He said, you want to work 18 hours a day? Not me. The best I tell you, laugh. I got the Italian youth to tell me everything. Can people always come to me, tell me stories, from family. So he came and he said, Louis, my cousin have a billiard and Cowich, and they want to give him $1.5 million. This is not now. I'm talking about 50 years back. I walk, he have no teeth, I walk, and he walked through. He said, Louis, his wife was a good customer. They have a kid. And dope, a very nice kid. He never bothered me. He have a daughter in Montreal. She always come visit. She come in, talk a lot to me. We like to talk. One thing, they always come to talk to me. So what's happened is, he said, Louis, you know what? You have to have a lot of money. I said, yes, I have lots of money. And I said, I make a deal with you. You see, I have a house. I have money in the bank. I gave you my house. I gave you the money in the bank. Give me a half what you have. Who tell you that? I never forget that. Who tell you that? Not your business. His cousin was telling me, not your business. I said, they come always come. They come for years. I mean, good. What can I say? I said to you before, and I tell you again, I got more tea, I hope, for the Gentile. They said, I'm open. And I go hide, And they said, maybe, we need, you never know. No, I got lots of problems, One thing you have to know is connection. I rent my door. She was a devil. She, not the man, she had to give me a new lease. They'll tell your company phoned me up to want to give me a machine. I said, listen, I fight with the landlord to give me a new lease later. That's, what's happened? She made my life miserable. Somebody was telling me, your stomach was upside down with her. She gave a lease. I had been with the cane, and then the book, he said, give him the lease or not, I'll kill you. Her lawyer was screaming at her, why don't you give him the lease already? She was using me out. And his daughters, they have two daughters, she was working with that one that I said, but she wanted me to fix this up, fix this, and I make a big bill, picked up the other said, Louis, tell her you done everything. You know, she was so bad. Of the end, she gave me the lease. They phoned up the company, and they don't want to give me no machine. She over excuses. Gee, this no good. This no good. The store was a big store, and I said, nothing helped. I'm telling you now, I got mad. A Chinaman opened this store, got out to a machine. And me, they don't want to give a machine. So what's happened once I was mad, there was Sherman the tailor. I don't know if you know that. There was Sherman Taylor, my store was next. So there was always come out to him somebody. I don't know 100%. I think most he wasn't Jewish. I think so. And he comes and said, Louis, always come say hello to me, that's all. No customer. He said, Louis, how come you're so mad? This I'll never forget. So I said, listen, the Chinaman just opened up a store. He got a machine. Me didn't want to get a machine. So the guy said to me, don't disappoint me. And I said, I talk about the machine. He said to me, don't disappoint me. I said, what the hell are you talking? I don't want to cut him up. I said, don't disappoint me. I said, my head was not. I said, I don't want to cut him. I said, don't disappoint me. And after he said, okay, Louis, I go to Sherman, you know. I said, okay, bye. You know what's happened? 2 days later, I got a phone call. 2 days to get the machine. 2 days to get the machine. But after I find out, he makes suit for the hat and the
Connections.
I never forget this one. I was fighting with them. Everything is connection. Everything connection.
Do you have any other memories or stories you want to talk about? Any other stories? Do you believe in God?
What?
Do you believe in God?
I believe something is upstairs.
Your angels.
I don't want to say the whole story. I believe that something control everything. Not we control. Upstairs control. Disturb everything come. With Israel, the same thing. I was in Germany. I said I have nothing to do. I got in a German show. I was the only Jew. More than 90% German. So they showed Newsreel. So they showed from Israel, like the Arab with tanks, strong men, and white Israel this time, the white Israel. So what's happened is, in the show Israeli, no shoes, hockey, three guys carry a machine gun. And once they show you, go like that, and after they show you how they've taken prisoners the Arab. You know what's happened? The whole show, the German, unglaublich, you understand unglaublich? We don't believe it. When they see the Israelis, they take prisoners the Arab. They were screaming the whole show. One was unglaublich, unglaublich. And they don't believe that. And the Israeli, you were thinking, she tank, no, the Israeli, no shoot, nothing. 3 people, 1 machine gun, and one to see the Israeli is taking the prisoner the Arab. The whole show, unglaublich, everybody was screaming, unglaublich, in German. I was there, I was surprised. Unglaublich, we don't believe that, like that. That's how you say everything. We have nothing to do with the weather, but nothing. Everything comes from upstairs. And one thing out, I got no education. I know history. If you go back in history, it's 1,000, 100,000, we don't know how old we are. 1 million years, we don't know. You go see every 500 years, 1,000 years, one country take over everybody. The Roman, the barbarian, you got who else was there? The Muslim, and the Greek. See, the Greek, I know you know this story, but what's his name? I forgot his name. He was I forgot his name. He said, he conquered so many countries on the globe, so many. The only people, he said, was smartest people were the Jewish people. I forgot, Alexander the Great. He said the only people, and he said the Jewish people go back to, to Israel, go back, or the Jews here make money, he stay, like that. That's it. He said, right now, I got here too, the Filipino Joe. The only thing is money.
Brian.
Money, money, money.
Ask him about what he did in the concentration
Money, money, money.
because he was very involved.
This is, I can tell you lots of stories. If I get in, come back, when concentration came, lots of them. And my family, my mother, my father, we have our own everything. And my father was too good. You want to collect it for your Rosh Hashanah, a basket of food. No, my grandfather was very rich. We have like that, you see, like this, right from there, from my backyard to the ravine is so big, this one. Listen, they said everything comes to an end. And God, I don't say God, I say somebody controls. Can be God, control everything. Everything. We don't control nothing. It's a mine idea, And this one, I jump in before one place is another, and I'm not going straight. In the concentration camp, I was lucky, that's it. I got, here. You see, I remind myself. I was working on this place. They have to go in the washroom.
In the concentration
out,
camp?
Not here. I mean, at the concentration camp, washroom. They have to go in the washroom. They have to go out for we build a new enclosing, a new building. You know what's happened? A Jewish policeman in camp was a police station, Jews too, German, put in Jews. So he come out, he need people. They tell him, go bring so many people for work. So you know what's happened? He beat me up. I said, why you beat me up? What I done? So he took me to work there. And I said, the German go kill you. It's same like he killed you. So what's happened? He got killed. He was standing on the finished with us. I mean, I worked and sent that back. So what's happened? He have a watchtower, to watch it. So the one Ukrainian, the German, want to practice, he kill him. The same thing. I'm telling you, with me, I tell you true, I don't know how I survive. I have nobody. No family, alone, always alone. I was not making big stones, small stones. To come down a German, dog guy, and there was another boy. When I was walking, was out of camp. You can run away. So come the German. There was a young kid like me. He never know. He got there. He never know what to do. He see the German start running, and the German said to him, "Halt, stop." So he never stopped. So he took out the revolver, he killed him. And after he stayed, but I bring up my life. After he stayed by me, I knocked the stone. I play like I don't know him. I don't know that. I do my work. He stayed with me. I don't know, long time. And he identified to kill me, not to kill me. Kill me, not to kill me. Of the end, he walk away from me. He walk away. That mine. I tell to you, I don't know how I survived. Nobody. And I was coming camp. I was 14, 15 years old. 14, 15 years old, I said to you. I said to you, Ukrainian, the Polish, these were the boss. Like a not couple, they were foreman by work. And I was the last camp, I said, was not a bad camp. For there was a Czech and a French, they give you a job. If you work too hard, they gave another job. But with this commandant, I said to you, he was a flyer. He never pilot. He never know about this thing. So what's happened is this guy, I was, I was young. So everybody said, listen, you're not can lift the train, to make new for the train, how you call it, to keep up, it was too heavy, So he said, why don't you change him? You get somebody out. So he's Polish. So what's happened is, the one said, listen, now, don't change it. We go to the Czech with French labor, and they go change you. So what's happened is, at the end they changed me, They changed me to give my easier job, I tell you, because I said, somebody was watching after me. Somebody was always watching. I said to you, they dachten, you wanted the German, when I cut up the late, the Czech said, no, I'm going tomorrow to work. I go tomorrow to work, And, like that, I go to Nazi, I said, like I always believe in angels here too. I got here lots of people would give me ideas, no cost to it, nothing. Come in my store and they tell me, you do that, do that, do that. I never ask, like they come in, tell me, and go out, no cost, nothing. And this is my life. I a slave, I'm not complaining. You see, I have my own house, no mortgage, no mortgage, and I have a couple of hours, surviving, I don't say this out this.
Do you have pictures?
I got more stories of forgetting,
Do you have pictures that you want to show us?
Eh?
Do you have pictures that you want to show us?
Yeah, this one, you see the pictures?
Yeah.
You have a look.
Okay.
I don't know if Dada on the phone. She on the phone, somebody phone.
Yeah.
On the table, old pictures here. Want to make pictures from
She's gonna
that
look
too?
at pictures.
Yeah, she wanted the pictures.
If you show us and tell
Okay,
us about
very
them.
young. You want the pictures?
Sure. Yeah. We'll look
Yeah,
at
you get lots of pictures.
Good.
For my father, my mother.
Just hold it up and show it.
This is your parent.
Yeah, you see, this is me. Look,
And that's you. With
my
your,
father, my mother, and me.
See?
Next. This is my wife with me. It's a him and my other daughter.
those are your daughters?
This is.
And
what
that's
is
in
this?
Toronto?
This is my first store. Here, my first store. Variety store. Yeah. Yeah, they gave me this one. It was the night is you shopping. This is my good daughter.
Sorry.
Hold them towards the camera.
Up.
Too low. A little lower. There we go. I can see it.
It's me with my wife. Me with my grandson. Here. This is my other daughter. that?
It's his grandchildren and his son-in-law. It's Haley, Lee, and Brandon. Can't see. Haley, Lee, and
It's
Brandon.
Haiti, no?
And
Yeah.
Brandon
In Bedlam.
and Lee
My grandson is my granddaughter.
and a grandson-in-law. Okay.
How about the night of Shusha?
After. Granddaughter and son-in-law. It's your granddaughter and son-in-law. Haley and the family. It's his granddaughter's wedding.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I got it.
You have to say who it is.
A little lower, a little lower. Very nice.
The whole family.
Where's that Beth Emmet? The wall?
Yeah.
Good wall.
Our wall. Do you like that one? That was at one of his birthday parties.
Very nice.
And his grandson is, oh yeah, give me that one. His first great grandchild. So this is Dorian, your first great grandchild. Smile. He's a character. And this is his great granddaughter.
I see the resemblance.
You do?
Yeah.
And this is Passover.
Okay, now come. They give me for the big,
It's right
big
here.
pictures.
So,
You see this? 50 years. Go Jubilee.
Jubilee for the Jewish Federation.
You see?
And then this one.
This is me in Germany, in the police school.
Very good.
Oh.
Got it?
Got it, okay.
What's
Thank you.
this one over here? This one?
Very cool. That, I thought it was a real.
And this is what I show you
candidate,
for
so
United Jewish Appeal, the Congress.
I only found that out
So
yesterday.
is that everything? Okay. Let's roll.
All right. You know, I forgot to tell you, in Krakow, liquidated the ghetto. There was 800 women. Men, just women. And they but I tell you, he killed them all. We have to dig, like a soccer field, soccer, the field, so big, this one, and we have to bury them. They bring it to with horses, this naked, and we have to bury them, the 800. The one I know, we were talking, one is alive. So I don't know what's done with the woman, one alive. 800. She kill out, liquidate the ghetto, with 800 women. Yeah, he hang, there was one kid, he hang, he fall down about 2 times, 3 times, the rope, they hang him, the rope, so the police chief said to him, was a Jew, he said to listen, how about you let him live, if it's a law, he said, next time, if you fall down again, I hang you too. At the end, you know what happened? At the end, he got hanged. They hang him. You know what's happened? He was very drunk. Like the German put him in jail. After the war, they bring him back of the same where they hang, and they hang him. He said, they'll say Hi Hitler, like that. Hi Hitler, like that. they still hang him, and was another one, etc. I forget, like that, they come back. 800 women, they clean up together. 800. I said to you, we come to see how we doing, how we burn them. We have to put, the bank with the Polish bank with with the horses, the wagon, I can tell you that, I tell you I'm forgetting, you get, sometimes come back the memory, 800. Yeah, like to hang. I'm telling you, he was a murderer. He enjoyed himself. You know what's happened? I said to you, I don't know if I tell you the story. We were the old man in that theater good. We were 3 people, I think. Me, always I line up. More I'm a single. Everywhere I got a single job. So what's happened is, we threw the brick for this men don't see the good we have to make. But this was his window office. He came out and he said, you make sabotage. He said, not as though. So he split that up and he was throwing the bricks too. So what happened? The men threw down the bricks, they not can see. So he took out his revolver. They want to shoot him. You know what's happened? The revolver, they got stuck. There's another guy there, I still remember, he gets it, just take my gun. He said, no. He walked away. He never kill him. And I ran, I can say, you see, though hide them higher. I don't know how I ran over the wall. And I ran over the wall, I don't know how I done it. I don't know how I ran away, So he never shot that guy, the old man. I can tell to you, I forget stories, I can tell you so much of the stories, I never forget 800, they were cleaning out, just woman was there, just woman. It was so big, like a sausage, food like that. 800 people, he cleaned up the ghetto.
Which ghetto?
Krakow ghetto, that you said, like, yeah, see, I remember. I was, how Tutskis we call it, one wheel. You hold the 2 hands, I forgot how you call it in English.
Wheelbarrow?
I don't know how in English. So I have to go up with some stuff. I don't remember. I said to you, I don't remember. And what happened? 4 young SS come to the camp. They come to him to have parties, So what happened is, the one, and I said, one thing I never run back. I go, I got straight. You know what's happened the best? One put on the legs. I don't know, I fly over him. So he said, done nothing, I fly over him. He want to put parachute the leg. Parachute, you touch him, you will make, I want to kill him. You know that? So I fly over to he to walk down, but I done something to him, That's what I want to bring you. Always somebody protect, heaven, I don't know. I never forget this. I said I remember the stories back, I never tell you the really stories, when they came. I have more, I'm just forgetting, coming back, I don't know, But not killing every day. Like a pleasure, you have a pleasure for killing. You hang him. So I said to you, they hang him, you still say Heil Hitler, when they hang him, what in the paper get. It was affection just to kill. All of them, And the Polish was better, the Ukrainian was murderer. And you see, they don't let us in to Canada, right? I come to family. I have problem too. He said, where's your mother? I said, my mother, go look for her. I was not afraid. I tell up the Canadian consul. So what happened, I work in the police. So what happened is, I was too honest. Till now, I never rip up nobody. Okay, business very different. People never come by, never. So what happened is, See, I forgot in a minute. What's happened is, what I was talking about that. You see, I forgot it. Come back and go for. So what's happened is, yeah, I worked a work in Gauting, name was Gauting in Germany City. There was the UNRWA, the head office from the UNRWA. And the lady said, I don't know how she found out, listen, you go to this guy. If he don't give you no paper, just let it to me. I go give him hell. And after I come in, what I want to say on it, after come, the banking was not allowed to bring in stuff from the outside, or you come anyway. And they want to buy me up, and I said, I don't do that. I don't do that. I never done it. So what's happened is, you got the police all get kickback, and I don't want it. So this, I should say, for punishment, they send me to Gauting that the donor. I was happy. My office, they come a guy, there was a big like this one, penicillin. Penicillin, penicillin. This is salt, we find out, he was the only one who found out the penicillin, the help. So the guy came and said, listen, I gave you money, and I gave you a ticket to go to French, and I gave you lots of money. How about I take out the penicillin? I said, listen, you got the wrong guy. I don't go for that. I said, I don't do that. Still now. I never done in the store the same thing. I don't say about the with people, customers is different, business is different, like that. So, never. He wanted to give me money. And for punishment, for punishment, they send me, if I don't want to do nothing. Yeah, what's happened is, she was not talk, and I listen, and the husband was the same thing. And they have a big room, and there they come from Russia, they come Jewish people, They came a genie place for them. So the commandant said to me, you know what? And I said, I want you to go to these people. I don't know how they know me. He said, I know you. I don't know, I better go to know me. He said, you go to them, talk to them. We give them another place. We need a room, it's very big. You come from Russia, big family. We need a room for that. So I said, okay. So he said, I tell you the truth. He said, they come down. If I send somebody out with Masood, he can punch him, like that. He want to his way. Someone want to show up his tongue. And I sit there for hours. You take time how long you want. And I sit there for hours. Of the end, we shake hands. You decided that they go move out, like that. I said, I said to you, I don't know. Everywhere I was there. But anything to do, they send me to do everywhere, I don't know what they say. I said everything coming back. I have lots of stories to tell you about the concentration camp, Lots of stories. It was the sheep and the camp were Jewish, they ran the camp. But I find out, I was not there. They were telling me, as they changed the guy, I said they get to put him in jail, put him in jail, to get a new one. And this new guy, I was not there. What's happened is, he make a deal, I think, with Ukrainian. They tell the Jewish family, he ran the camp, Jew. He said, he can run away. He gave him gun. The Ukrainian talked to the Jew, and he said, the commandant said, we want to run away, we give you guns, you can run, He gave him special, of the end, you shoot him, So you find out not there. I tell you 10% maybe from stories from the camp. How many times I was shot, I don't can remember. Here too, not everything I tell you. This I was just 14 years, 14, 15 years old. you know,
Where did you sleep?
alone. You know, alone. I have nobody, just alone, everything alone. Everything come my way, everything. And I always, one thing, I always walk alone. You know that? Always I got job to be alone. I got this one at the ammunition factory. So we need cement. You know, cement, bag of cement. So what's happened is, so they was how high, double high like here. So the old man were another two people. So they said, you know, why you have to go so high? We go take it out from the middle. You know what's happened? They took out from the middle, avalanche. You know, avalanche. The old back come running down. Oh, the back falling down. All of them falling down. And, you know, with my luck, I got cut. One leg cut, that another can go. Or the people that way never care about me. You know, they run. They say, but how much him? You know, we run. So what's happened? The German master come. You know, master, you're like this. And he said to me, he said it to me like that. You know what he said? So many back powder, not one explode. He said to me, you know what, not one explode in German. I understand German. This was about little lucky. I speak a little bit German. I don't know how. You know, he said, no one bag explode. Look how many bags here are. No one. He said, no one bag, you know what, you go in Barak. Today up. He said, no one. He said, he was wondering, he said, no one bag explode. He said, no one. He said, bag explode. You know, got one, the Germans stay with me, this was in Prussia. And I have to do a big, but I don't have to put away the earth. So the German said to me, I have to go away, and I wanted this to finish up. I said, listen, I said, hey, you know, I'm making big. He went to me, you go where you want to go. I guarantee you, you come back, will be no more. Everything will be flattened down. He said, you say that? I said, yes. I go. I said to him, go. I have master, you know, build him up. I said, go, you come back, will be no more. I said, you stay, you make me nervous. Don't. I said, go. One thing I was a kid, I was not afraid, you know, one thing I was not afraid. So he said, okay, he gone away, and after I come back, you know, he got away, I do a party, you know, he come back, he never said, thank you, now, you know, not to say that, and I done the job. He just look, never say nothing. You know, he was happy I don't, you know, but he said, I have to go, I want to go. Now you want me to finish up. And you know, I not can do it in a minute, two, take time. So this time I never forget. I said, go, if you come back, will be no more. And he come back and that's it. Everything alone.
Were you lonely?
Oh, he came the same thing alone.
Were you
Not somebody, just alone, mostly I walk alone,
Were you scared?
everywhere.
Were you afraid?
Alone, you know, alone, just myself.
Yeah.
Like some more people, no, I'm mostly alone. Till now, listen, you lucky, you survive. That's not but brain, smart. That's it, that's what I said. Oh, angels, I know here, how many I got people with ideas, you know, like that. Yeah. I can tell you more stories. My cousin was in the same camp, in a mission camp. She's here. She's still alive. She tell me, I never know. You know, you never know. You know. I was we open up this place. We bring in the machines, you know, to make the work. You know. So what can I? We came to the camp with nobody. We took it up, put it in a train. We got ourselves, I think, to the camp. I don't know. Maybe it was a German or somebody. It was all mixed up. When you put that, we had the first thing was the German done. you take out from the houses. Now, one thing I understand, I don't know how it is, we supposed to fight back. We never fight them back. The houses we left, supposed to burn down, you know. They burned down the houses, not the left. I don't know this, with me, I don't know what to say. I say everything upstairs, you know. That's how it goes. We have a country back, you know, is strong. We are in the third place, you know that? It's America, Taiwan, and Israel. What you're finding out is computer, that's what you have everything more from Israel, in Taiwan. In America, the first. Everything. We got one guy, I think I got my store, you got talking too much. I said, listen, you have a phone? He said, yes. Who made that? I asked him. He said, that's what we, I said, what making Israel, not in Israel. I said, in India, someplace out. He kept his mouth shut. Yeah, one I got, I said, don't buy by Jew. In my store, I can tell you the truth. I have maybe one or two, you know, like, not to show up anti-Semitism, you know what I mean? Like they talk against the Jew. I never have it. I explained to them. I explained some of them as the Jew. We live a different life. That's it. Yeah, what can we do?
Okay, thank you.
Right now, this is what I remember, you know. I remember more, lots of things. You go away, I remember lots of things. You know, bring people, you kill him, just to kill him. But them killing was nothing. Nothing.
Okay,
Nothing.
thank you very much.
Eh?
Thank you.
Okay, you're
Thank you
welcome
very
anytime.
much.
You're welcome anytime.